Today, finding the vertex and sketching parabolas from factored form. Now, you get a little bonus here, is I reteach yesterday's lesson in the middle of this. So if you're like, I tried to do the homework, but I couldn't really do it. Well, check this out. Like, don't waste your time just copying the answers from my answers. That's a waste of time. Check this out. Because now, you're sort of following with me. You're like, oh, if I can't do yesterday's lesson, I can't do today's lesson. Now there's two types of questions you can't do on the test. See how math builds up like that? Yeah, all right. So check this out where I'm going to reteach some of yesterday's lesson inside here, which is fun. What we know about what we know. I don't know. Switch to this page. What we might know. Let me change that. Ink color, pink. What we might. Shh. Quiet. At this point, we might know how to find zeros from quadratic functions. That was yesterday's lesson. If you missed it, or you didn't really understand it, you're really going to want to listen to the first part, because we cannot do today's if we can't do yesterday's. We could do it as long as it's in factored form. In this lesson, we'll look at how we can use that information. If we can get the zeros, we can get the vertex. Now, I say getting the vertex from the zeros is easier than yesterday's lesson. I think so. But you got to be able to get the zeros first. If you can't get the zeros, you're nowhere. You're lost. Let me show you what I mean. Consider this. Sketch the graph of y equals x plus 4, bracket x plus 8. Here's the part from yesterday's lesson you need to know. So you're like, I didn't get it. I don't remember. Shh. I didn't get it. I didn't follow it. Whatever. Here's what we did yesterday. First, find the zeros, the x-intercepts. Do you remember what that first step was? At least let's get the first step. If I wanted to find the zeros, what's the first move? So we got to set something to zero. We got to make something zero. Which variable is zero? Oh yes, I'm definitely going to do the opposites. And that, he might be just a step ahead of me. Let me get the first step down first, though. Set y equal to 0. That's the first step. And this PowerPoint doesn't love writing that down, which I didn't fix. Maybe I should have fixed it. But I wanted you to write this in for sure. Write this in on yours. Set y equals 0. That's one trigger I want in your brain there, is when we want to find the zeros, we set y equal to 0. And then Alex gave us the next hint. He said, then you just want the opposites. We need the numbers that make these brackets zeros. What number is going to make that bracket 0? Like, what do you add 4 to and end up at 0? Negative 4. There's the opposite part of it, right? And what do I add 8 to end up back at 0? Negative 8. So there's the opposite part. So in factored form, we can get the zeros by just looking at what's the opposite number. So the zeros are negative 4 and negative 8. And put those on the graph. I think your PowerPoint already has them on the graph. Am I right? Are your printout? Those zeros are already there. But that's how you find them. Oh, I like this. It's a good idea. Thank you. OK. That's really yesterday's. That's really yesterday's. Okay? I'm not saying like, oh, you're supposed to know that. That's not what I mean. Sometimes math lessons have inside the lesson, they have yesterday's lesson. Oh, my watch is trying to get involved here. Do you need more time? No, you didn't need to, because they were on the graph for you. Here's the big moment of today's lesson. And again, if you couldn't do yesterday's, you got to get that straight in your mind. I don't know. I must have another pair just like these somewhere. See, now you can tell that story. You can be like, I was there the day Mr. Todd started to lose it. Nobody in math help even noticed that.
I noticed, like, you were slightly taller on one side.
How different are they?
It's like, that's why I've been walking in circles all day.
How did you not notice?
I think two different shoes. Oh my God.
Well, and they're both beautiful shoes, by the way. That's a Sketcher, which I know they're not cool, but oh, are they comfortable. Those are like walking on air. And ASICs last all day, baby. Those are good shoes. It's like I'm doing a commercial here for shoes now.
Mr. Todd, it's like the same color, but they do not look the same.
No. How could that have happened? All right. Now we need someone clever. Clever. If that's one of the zeros at -4, and that's the other zero at -8, what x value, don't worry about the y, where on the x-axis will the vertex be? -6. Parabolas are symmetrical. They're the same on one side as they are on the other. So if there's -4 and -8, now my question is, how did you get -6? Because there's lots of ways to get the -6. I'm going to talk about several. How did you get -6? I just counted in the middle. That totally works. So if I mess you up with what I say next, don't let it mess you up. Just go, I just got to get the middle. I just got to find out what's between -4 and -8. Promise me you won't let me mess you up. I'm going to say another way to do it, but it's just find the middle. Halfway between -4 and -8, you can just count back and forth until you find it. The parabola is symmetrical. Looking at our graph, what do you think the x value of the vertex will be? -6 falls right in the middle. That's how we're going to find it. You got to write that down on the last part, right? X equals -6 since it falls right in the middle. Now I put a little v beside the x. You don't have to put a little v. I just put it there because I'm teaching and I better be specific when I'm teaching. And what I mean by that's the x value of the vertex. That's all that v means. So you can write the v, you don't have to write the v, but just in my lessons I'm writing the v to go, this is the x value of the vertex. So you're like, okay, so far, I'm just showing up late here, Mr. Todd. So far, what have you come up with? And so far, what I've come up with is, if I've got the zeros, the vertex will be halfway between. That's all. That's all you missed if you showed up late.
Yes!
Yeah! You think you can find halfway between two numbers?
Mr. Todd, I've been waiting so long for this to get. So long. That just made my day. Thank you.
No joke. Do you think you can find halfway between two numbers?
Yeah.
All right. That's all. That's all we got to do. Do you need more time? Do you need more time? I was standing over here for you. Shamar, you were late. Do you have a note?
Shamar, go get another one. Go get another. Shamar, you have to go get another one.
Well, it's green, so it must be a vegetable of some kind.
How many pills have we eaten, Mark? You gotta go get another.
Here's the technical part. It's good. Not quite ripe yet, but it's good. Here's the technical part. Do you need to know this? No, but it helps to think about it. The vertex lies on the axis of symmetry. Do you remember that word, axis of symmetry? It's the line right down the middle.
Mr. Todd, do you get paper cuts or
No.
I used to eat paper when I was
Whoa.
I've drank an ice pack.
The vertex will lie somewhere on the axis of symmetry, right between the middle of the two zeros. Like, Ms. Todd, why do you got to write all these crazy words? Well, it's my job to show you the crazy words. But in the end, the vertex will be halfway between the zeros. That's all. That's all, Shamar. That's all you missed. Zeros, halfway between. I can't find the zeros. Well, then you needed to do yesterday's homework. I'm sorry. I can't protect you from this any longer. You got to do some of the homework, at least, to know what the heck is going on the next day. Jackson.
See how at the top it says y equals
Yep. Right, good question. Okay, let's just say I told you what happens when I put in negative 4. What is negative 4 plus 4? No, negative 4 plus 4. 0. Right? So negative 4 is the number that will make this into 0. Also, negative 8 will do that. So the zeros of this are negative 4 and negative 8. They're the numbers that turn this into 0. It's good? Great question. That's yesterday's lesson in a nutshell. I mean, there was details, of course. But that's the main idea of yesterday's lesson. Did that give you enough time to copy this down? All right. Just in case somebody was asleep, why did I put a little V there? I'm just talking about the vertex. So you can put the V, you don't have to put the V. That's just me trying to stay organized. Oh, so take a moment and draw a straight line down between negative 4 and negative 8.
It's already there.
It's already there? Yeah, so just draw it. If it's not, if it's on the one page, if it's not there, just draw it down to go, this is where, and all I'm saying there is halfway between. Find halfway between. So that's not the problem you got to worry about. How do you get the y value? Now read this. I tried to be funny here. Are you ready? Here's me being funny. How do we know how high or how low the vertex is? In other words, what's the y value? Oh, like here? Oh. Do you have a note? Do you have a note? Because I'm getting a little full. Did you tell the office? Did she tell the office? Did you call the office? Okay. All right, get ready for my funny joke. It's a funny math joke. Well, we know the x value of the vertex is negative 6. If only we had an equation to find y values. Does anyone know what the equation might be to find y values? The y equals equation. Good for you. Great job finding it.
He told us this at the beginning of the year and said he told us.
Yeah, I know. If somebody walks by now, they'll be upset. Bye. This video will be online.
Was that the joke?
Yeah, I know. It's not a great joke. The joke is, if only there was a y equation. You're like, I do have a y equation. So I could take this negative 6. Where'd it go? That negative 6, I can't reach it. That negative 6 there. And I'm just going to sub it in to the equation. Looks hard to sub it in. It's not going to be that hard to sub it in. Wait a minute. We do have one. It's right there. You'll have the equation for, so finding y is one. If I can find the x, I can find the y. Yeah. I didn't put it down there for me. I know all this stuff. Right. Halfway between to get the x, sub it back in to get the y. There. Here's the whole lesson in a nutshell. Now, it's not quite as easy as I'm saying. But when you're trying to remember what to do, it's like, okay, halfway between, get the x, sub it in to get the y. And you're like, subbing, it's not my easiest thing. The subbing here isn't bad. It really is not going to be all that difficult. We're not subbing into some crazy thing here. Did you have enough time to write? Wait a minute, we do have one there. That's the equation. That's the equation in this particular question. Will there be a different equation in different questions? Absolutely. That's why they're called different questions. Stop doing that yawning thing. Shh. Siriana, stop distracting them. Here's me subbing. Ready? I'm going to put that line there. And I hope you look at that and go, I see what you did. If not, stare at it for just a minute. I mean, ask me. I want you to ask me, but I want you to stare at it for just a second and go, what did you do there? Again, what's the little v for? You don't have to write the v if it messes you up. Just, yeah, the y value of the vertex. That's why I put a little v there. You don't have to write the v. We know what we're looking for. We're looking for the y value of the vertex. But I put the v there just to be specific. What did I do? I sub negative 6 in for the x. What's that? Yeah, write it. It's for you. It's for you to look at later when you're trying to do homework. You're like, I forget how to do this. If only I had a note that told me how to do it. This is the note. Or the video online. You can watch it with your parents, and they can listen to the kind of ridiculous nonsense that we're up to here at St. John's. Find out where all their money's going to. What's that? I don't know they're going to hear that I ate the late slip. I deny it. Who are they going to believe, you or me? Depends if I show up in mismatched shoes or not. I'll try and get it right tomorrow. Don't go to your counselor and say, I think there's something wrong with Mr. Todd. Just yet. Let's just see what happens. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, geez. What's negative 6 plus 4? I know you don't like integers, but come on. Negative 6 plus 4. Oh, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? What's negative 6 plus 4? What's negative 6 plus 8? 2. If you're not great, if you're not great with integers, then what weapon do you have? Just grab your calculator. Yeah? It's a lot of blank. I left you a lot of blank space to fill this in. The blank one. Yeah, good question. So that's negative 2 and positive 2. And when you multiply one negative by one positive, what kind of answer do you get? A negative. And I get negative 4 here. What's the V for? Because I'm just talking about the vertex. You don't have to write the V. Don't let it mess you up. I'm just finding the y value of the vertex. Now look, I can graph that vertex now. Here it is. Here it comes. Yeah, good question. Good question. Yeah. Multiply those two. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Does your picture have the vertex? Oh, I didn't mean it to have the vertex. I messed that up. All right, but you got the vertex. Now we can draw the, what's the shape called? A parabola. Is it going to draw it for me? There it is. One parabola. But tell me your questions. I'm not trying to rush it. Because I only have 2 more slides to go. So you go to yourself, okay, get the zeros. Halfway between is the vertex. Sub it in to get the y value. That's all there is to it as far as the steps here. I'm not acting like it's easy. I promise you. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying those are the steps to do it. Ms. Ty, I didn't do any of last night's homework. Well, then you're going to have a problem, aren't you? You can't even find zeros. How can you do this? So it's possible tonight what you're going to do is go, okay, I better do a few of those questions from last night's homework, from Wednesday's homework. Then I can approach some of Thursday's homework. Ms. Todd, is this all my life is homework from now on? Well, yeah, work of some type. That's what we're trying to get ready for, is to do some work in life. Oh, yeah, where? Great job. Great job. Yeah? Probably won't pay you a ton, but that world. Make more than me. For sure you will. If you work hard. If you don't work hard, well. Shh. Do you need more time here? Then draw the curve. Yeah? Once we had the vertex, then we can draw the thing. Yeah. More time? I can't tell. You're talking so much, I can't tell if you need more time or not. Wait till I show this to Mrs. Todd. She's going to put me in the home. You guys can come visit me. Will you come visit me if they send me to the home?
What?
What? Got it? Good? Can we do another one? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do another one. See, it sounds like in the video like you asked for another one. She was like, I get it. It's not funny. That's the problem. Mr. Todd. Okay, now listen. This is what I was talking about. Shh. Don't let me mess you up. If you're like, I just got to find halfway between is the average. So you could add the two numbers together and divide by 2. That's what you could do to find halfway between them, okay? That's your shortcut. Sketch the graph of y equals negative bracket 2x minus 5. I've ramped it up here a whole lot and reteaching some of yesterday's stuff. What was the first step? Set y to 0. Find those zeros. And again, this PowerPoint doesn't put it on there, but I will. Set y equals 0. Then something bad happens, and we got to find out if there's somebody out there who did enough of last night's homework to know what to do here, or they remember from the lesson what to do here, because this one's not easy. This is not easy. Shamar? The negative doesn't really matter here. Let's just hang on. For finding zeros, we're not going to worry too much about the negative.
Would it be like you add 5 now?
Almost, yes, absolutely. Okay, level 1 of understanding this going. I think it's going to be like 5, and this is going to be like -1 or something like that.
Yeah,
But this coefficient up front, see the 2 and the 2? That messes things up a little bit.
because when you multiply the two negatives, you get positive.
Yeah. What do I do? Oh, if we wanted to multiply it out, we would do box method. If it asked us to expand, remember that keyword, expand? If we wanted to expand, we would do box method. Good answer. Does anybody know what to do here? Scalba? Separate, oh, he's got it, folks. Separate the two. When they're a little complicated like this, break them into 2 equations, which we were getting good at once we had it in 2 separate equations like that. So you're exactly right. We got to break that into 2 separate equations. And Anthony was right. I got to move that -5 over. And I got to move that 1 over. But there's one more step here. What's the opposite of multiplying by 2? Dividing by 2. So there is an extra step here. Are there people that get good enough where they can look at this and get the answer? Yeah, but your numbers better be good. You better be really good with numbers before you're making that jump. I think you should separate them like this. Yeah, 2.5. Good. This one, bring over the 1, it becomes negative, and divide by 2, and I get -0.5. Now, don't say it out loud. Think about it. Can you get the number that's halfway between 2.5 and -0.5? Yeah, someone shakes their head like, no, I can't do it. Yeah. So, I'm going to plot them first. And once you plot them, can you get it now? Does yours have the plot on there?
Yeah.
Now look. Can you look at it and say, what's halfway between these? 1. So sometimes the graph's good enough. Somebody goes, I still can't get it, or I want a faster way. Well, that's where my method up here comes in. And you don't have to do this. Don't let me mess you up. You could go like this. You could go 2.5 plus -0.5 and divide that by 2, which is 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So that works. And if you're really solid with numbers, you may like that better. You're like, I'm not trying to figure out halfway between. I'll just add them together and divide by 2. That gets me right there. I nodded at a few people there that I thought maybe that would be a better move for them. So what is that? What is that halfway between? What does that represent? What's that going to be?
Axis of symmetry.
It's the axis of symmetry. Better yet, that's just what I did in the previous page. There it is, axis of symmetry, just like he said, at 1. That means the vertex is at 1 somewhere. Uh-oh, I gave away the next answer. I'd put this down just in case you start to like this. You can just go, what's halfway between? You can just do that. But this is another way to find the halfway between, is to average the two. Add them together and divide by 2. That'll give you the halfway between. That's what average does, finds halfway between of two numbers. It actually finds the middle, is what it does. That's the x value. What's the little v for? I now have the x value of the vertex. How do I get the y value? The y equals equation. Yeah, go back to the equation that I originally had and sub that thing in. Shh. I'm almost done. Don't get sidetracked just yet. I'm almost finished. Many people will need their calculator now. What's 2 times 1? Minus 5. Yeah. How about 2 times 1? Plus 1. Ah, there it is. Now, negative 3 times 3. Negative 9. But then I want the negative of that. So it actually comes out to positive 9 after I do both negatives. Excuse me. Sorry for being up here in your way. Now I'm ready to plot the vertex. 1, 9. You can put it on your graph. Do you see it? It's covered by my axis of symmetry, but it's right there at 1, 9. Then you can draw the parabola. This one happens to open downwards. And Shamar asked, what was that negative out front? That negative out front makes this thing go downwards, not upwards. More like, are you yelling at me? I'll stand closer so you can actually hear you yelling at me on the video. Mr. Todd, get out the way. Oh, you can go to the video. You can find out. You'll be watching the videos tonight going, who's that whiny person in his class? You're like, oh, it's me. Can you imagine? Oh, draw the parabola. Did I do it? Does my PowerPoint do it? There it goes. There's the parabola. I'll just keep saying parabola over and over again until you get used to that word. Yes. Mr. Todd, this lesson has zeros in it. If I did this homework, I'd learn the zeros and the vertex all at the same time. Not a bad move. Not a bad move. I want you to do all the homework, but sometimes it's like, folks, there's 5 questions in the homework. Please do not waste your time and mine by just copying the answers from the other sheet. So you survived the homework check. Who cares? Who cares? The only thing that matters is the quiz or test. That's the only thing that matters. I'd rather you did half the homework, but did it yourself, than just copy the answers. And I'll know, right? Oh, your homework's perfect and you got 0 on the test? Not my first day. That's not gonna, I'm not going to be fooled by that. I'm going to stop the video, but then I'll come back to this slide if you still have copying to do, okay? So don't panic when I do this. Don't go, Mr. Todd.
Mr. Todd.
Mr. Todd. Just wait. That slide's still there, but I'm stopping